And happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Unexplained Cases Medium. I'm Rick Runner,
Hi.
along with Maryam the Medium. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Hey, I'm certifiable, but I think that's usually apropos. Par
Typical.
for the course? Typical?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay, we'll go with
The
that.
usual.
The huge, yeah, exactly. We've been quite busy with some projects. I think we're going to kind of start getting into it a little bit this weekend to let some folks know. But if they start seeing some hashtag Save Halloween and some mentions about next Saturday in the Winchester Mystery House,
Ooh, I'm so excited.
don't be surprised, or be surprised. It's all a cool thing. So basically, long story short, and you'll be seeing lots of mentions about this, head to our Facebook page, facebook.com/unexplained cases. You'll be able to get tickets. This is a ticketed event. $10, the proceeds that we're gathering are going to go towards Winchester. They've been closed since March. Obviously COVID's been naughty for a lot of businesses, and in their particular case, had to lay off a bunch of folks, but they're just opening back up. And since next Saturday is National Ghost Hunting Day, we're going to be celebrating that with working with Skeleton Crew Paranormal, who they're also located about an hour away. So, and they're fans of ours, and we love them. And so it's going to be a nice collab, fun time. Live investigation, you doing your thing, and hey, it's going to be a big time.
Well, you know what's crazy about the Winchester Mystery House? I mean, it's not crazy, but I was there when I was really young. And when we decided that we were going to do it, I texted my mom and I was like, "Oh my God, when I went there, I was super young, but I have not forgotten." And I even like reference it, like when we would go look at houses and be like, this is like the Winchester Mystery House. Like, what's going on? It stuck with me. And I don't remember a lot of stuff. I have a terrible memory, especially about childhood, but that I remember. So I'm really intrigued and excited to see who's there. I mean, obviously we know who's there. What's her name again? The woman who owns
so
it?
that's
Do you know?
Sarah Winchester.
Oh, Sarah Winchester. Okay,
Mhm.
so yeah. But still, to be able to talk to her and see if she remembers when I was there. I'm just kidding.
You. It's you again. Hey, and we got to give a shout out to Linda and Shell Bell. Welcome, guys. Got some familiar faces there. Appreciate you being here. Pegy, Hennis, Tammy Ann. Hello, hello. Caleb, Sherry from Burlington, Vermont. Haven't had the pleasure of going to Vermont, but welcome, Shelly. Thanks for being here. Tina, Charlene. Let's see who else we got. Mary Christina, one of our faves there. Welcome. Mr. Chronic Blunt, and Anthony and KK. Hey, now that's actually don't get me started. I could get a little groove going.
No,
Yeah,
don't do it. Rick,
okay.
you have a daughter.
And Lisa. Well, there'd be eyes rolling anyway, regardless, for sure. So Stephanie from Texas and Tessa, welcome. Hey, also, guys, just to let you know before we get things rolling, Unexplained Cases Live. Of course, that is tonight. Same channel, wherever you're seeing us at. That will be 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific. And Mr. Darren Dito is here to tell us about what we're doing tonight.
What is up,
Hi,
everyone?
Darren.
It's Darren Dito from Unexplained Cases Live. Hope you're having a great day. Coming up on tonight's show, it is a big one. Ghosts, UFOs, cryptids. Oh my, it is a trifecta of terror, if you will. They are some of the craziest and the scariest paranormal videos around, and we're going to show them to you. Plus, Maryam will do a live remote viewing to connect with the spirits, aliens, and that Bigfoot that was caught on camera. Unexplained Cases Live, Sunday night. See you then.
Ooh. So there
Make
is
sure to not watch. I didn't want to see any of that.
Well, there's a redonkulous amount of videos out there, and from my perspective, I'm kind of the one that's like, hey, when you fake things or you ham things up, then you kind of make it bad for folks when they're actually capturing real stuff. I mean,
That's true.
I like the entertainment factor as much as maybe the next person, but when you do that, so there's the question, are these actual legit, or lame? I guess we'll find that out tonight. But be sure and tune in for that, because that's going to be definitely an interesting one for sure. And I'll let you get right on to it then.
All right, here we go. Let's close our eyes. All right, before we focus on the breath, I want you to notice your breath. I want you to notice its depth. I want you to notice how shallow it may be. I want you to just become aware of the speed. No need to change it, just become aware. Once you've acknowledged your breath, wow, my breath is moving a little fast, or man, it's moving slow. Man, it's really shallow. Then I want you to consciously deepen your breath. And the conscious inhale and exhale means that we obviously are aware of the inhale, and we're also aware of the belly expanding on the inhale. And then we're aware of that exhale and the belly pulling in on the exhale. So 3 really long, deep, conscious breaths in and out through the nose or in and out through the mouth, whatever's comfortable for you. Really allowing that belly to expand, really allowing that belly to pull in, relaxing the shoulders, just preparing yourself for your intuition. Preparing yourself to feel your intuition, hear it, see it, however it comes through for you. Allow any thoughts to just be there. Continue with that deep breath. Feeling the shoulders relax. Feeling the hands and the fingers relax, feeling the belly expand, noticing if the face is scrunched up or relaxed. Three more long, deep breaths here. Really elongate that exhale. Allow that inhale to go deep. Relax the tongue if it's on the top of the mouth. All right, here we go. Pick a card. Card 1, card 2, card 3. Card 1, card 2, card 3. Card 1. You've been feeling as if everyone's been coming at you. Card 1, you feel like there's this battle, this fight that's been happening, that includes you, and almost feels like they're coming at you, they're blaming you, they're everything's pointed at you. What did you do? Why didn't you do this? Or why did you do that? Or what are you going to do about this? There's just this sense of feeling attacked and just feeling overwhelmed. That's going to be there for a minute. That feeling's going to be there for a minute, because it's like you need to rise from the ashes, and rise in a way that is compassionate, rise in a way that is supportive of yourself and of others around you, understanding why people are coming at you, understanding why things are the way they are right now. There's a need for you to rise above this and realize your own strength when you are confronted with something that you did or didn't do. When you're confronted with something that you didn't realize you did, or that you realized you hurt someone, or you didn't realize you put yourself in this position. When we don't realize what we do, it's because we are not connected. We don't have that balance. We don't have a daily practice. We aren't conscious of our movements and of our voice. And it doesn't mean that we're perfect every time. It just means that there's an awareness of what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. And then on top of that, when you have that daily practice and you have that awareness, you have this consciousness that goes out beyond you and it goes to others, and you can feel the truth of the situation, and the truth of that situation no longer feels like your own perception of it. Instead, the truth of the situation is you're feeling others, you're feeling yourself, you're feeling the end result. When you start to feel others in a situation, you can start to see why they're doing what they're doing. It doesn't mean it's acceptable behavior. It doesn't mean you agree with it. It just means you can see it now from that perspective, and you can do something with that. Your choices will change, and how you do things will be different. Rise from the ashes. That's what this one is about for card 1. Card 2. It's like the sun is setting on a really good thing. You're like, they're saying the sun is setting, saying the time is done. The time is over. It's time that this experience that you've been having is going to come to a close. It's going to come to an end, or it already has. And there's this feeling of sadness and feeling of sadness, which you should feel. It was this journey has come to an end, and you have to become comfortable with the ending, so that you can see the new beginning that will inevitably come from it. Being comfortable with the pain that it brings, understanding the pain that it brings, and knowing that with the pain comes clarity, with the pain comes lessons, with the pain comes growth. We get stuck in pain because we don't like it, or we feel like we don't like it. They're saying we don't like it, understandably, but the pain is there for a reason. And if you can grow from it, if you can learn from it, if you can change from it, this pain is not going to last as long as you think. There's going to be light at the end of the tunnel showing itself sooner rather than later. But you have to embrace this death. And death, I say, more metaphorically. For some of you, it might have been a physical death that you experienced. But if you haven't experienced this yet, it's not so much a physical death as it's a emotional, personal, relationship or job, or just a death about learning something about yourself and realizing, wow, now what do I do with that information? It's time, they're saying, like, for the sun to set on this, for you to be in the dark with it, for you to be in this womb, in this space with it, experience it, feel it, let it take over you so that you can see what you're supposed to learn from it. Card 3, there's this sense of just well, kind of like walking blindly through life, through things, through situations, not really sure where you're going and why you're going there, but knowing that this is kind of where you're at, kind of stumbling through. There's blinders on right now. It's like you can't see your future. You can't see where you're supposed to go, what you're supposed to be doing. That's the way it's supposed to be for now. There's this blind trust they're asking you to have, this trust with not knowing what's coming, with knowing what the future holds, with not knowing where you're going to end up. That's exactly where you're supposed to be right now, because that's how you're going to determine next steps. Once you become comfortable and accepting of the I don't know, I can't see, that forces you to release control. It forces you to find vulnerability. It forces you to find peace with, this is out of my hands right now. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know what it's going to look like, but it's out of my hands right now. And I trust that. I trust that it's not for me to be dealing with. I trust that it's not for me to be managing. This is a really important place to be in for you guys. Stay there. I cannot stress enough for every single card, daily meditation practice. You want to find your way through, you want to change your life, you want answers, you got to have a daily meditation practice. If you don't, nothing is going to change. Okay.
Okay. Well, with everybody who is still commenting, by all means, please make sure and get your comments in there. Your one specific question is what we're looking for, so drop. So this is a particular segment that we have as just if anyone has any questions, very specific requests. That's why we have this little segment. It's not necessarily a weekly one, but there is the topic that floats around about sleep paralysis. That's something that I've come across that multiple times over the years with stories that folks that have reached out on that. I guess let's kick that off with, like, what is your experience with that particular topic? What can you expound on that?
Yeah, sleep paralysis is specific to each individual. I know science has worked hard to try to find answers and to find understanding, which honestly I don't necessarily read up or look into what they have found. So I don't want it to influence my readings for others. But I know that my experience has been with this sleep paralysis is that it's very specific to each individual. Sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it's an actual demonic force, sometimes it can be related to alien experiences. It's very specific, and every single situation has been incredibly different.
See, like in my case, last week, and for me, being, folks may not believe this, but having the journalistic background that I have, and that's part of why we have this whole series, is to take a very skeptical approach with everything. There's an explanation for it. It's not necessarily a paranormal explanation. That's why we want to try to debunk things. But in my particular case, I remember I woke up in the middle of the night, felt like that there was maybe a presence that was in the room, and I just remember thinking, well, wait a minute, I can't move anything from like the neck down. Now in my mind, I'm sitting there thinking, am I actually awake? Is this kind of like everything hasn't fired off yet, basically, so to speak? And then I'm like, I remember, okay, then I could actually move, and then I'm out again, basically. So it was like only a few moments, but I've had moments like that. And so that's where, to me, it's like, well, now is that sleep paralysis, or is that just something else?
So I have some of your pictures that you sent me, which is why I keep looking down for those of you that are new. So there's two things happening with you when you are experiencing this. One is the spirit soul wanting to lift out of the body. And one is, what did they say? The soul lifting out of the body. Oh, traveling. So there's like the soul lifting out of the body, then coming back in, lifting out of the body, then coming back in. So there's talking about traveling and leaving. So for you, this feeling an entity in the room isn't that you're feeling, for you, it's not a dark energy. It's not a dark entity. It's you experiencing life outside of the body. And you allowing yourself to feel the energy outside of the human body. Something I feel all the time, but for most people, they don't allow themselves that time to do that. And so we experiment. And so when the physical body freezes, it's because there's this lack of awareness that you have, yet this like agility, if you will, of being able to move in and out of the body. You feel like if one thing happens, this thing has to, like, my body has to freeze in order for my soul to be lifted out. And it doesn't, but that's your perception. That's what you, that's how you perceive things. You aren't perceiving things as like fluid. So there's the higher consciousness, there's the soul, and then there's the physical body. And the higher consciousness is who you are. It's your life experiences, your past lives. It's your essence. And then that joins the soul. So the soul then joins the body. And so we reference the soul, but the soul also, you know, as long as your higher consciousness is still connected to that soul, the soul is connected to the body. And so it's not unusual for people to separate those. And so they're saying for you, you were separating, you're practicing. And so you're separating, you're like, here's the soul, here's the body, only one can move at a time. And that's not the case. And so the more in your daily meditation / prayer practice, you start to feel the soul fitting into the body, and then feel the soul moving around in the body, and seeing and feeling the soul maybe leaving and coming back in, and noticing the body can still move. The body is still there. That's going to help you. So the spirits that you're feeling around you are simply you. When you leave the body, you're feeling the spirit world. And yes, there's absolutely spirits around you, and there'll be one that's stronger than others. And so you might say, no, I only felt one. Okay, well, for you, your experience was only with that one. Most likely that one that I'm feeling is a spirit guide. It's not dark. It's just there. It's just watching. It's just present, as all of our spirit guides are. So for you, there's this coming out of the body, coming back in. It's just this practice. It's like just becoming limber. You know, this is why yoga, I stress yoga is such an important practice for everybody, because yoga opens up the body. We store emotion in the body. We store sadness, memory, pain in the body. And that's part of the reason why we typically, or in Rick, in your case, you separate, oh, if my soul's moving, then my body can't, because the body's feeling very dense, and the body is carrying memory from this life. And so there's this separation that you do, and you don't need to do that. Your consciousness and the memory that's stored in your body and that connects to the soul is all together, no matter what. Even though the muscles will retain that information, you can still be fluid with coming in and out of the body. Now, eventually you want to manage it so you're not doing it all the time. You can get, you know, vertigo, it can make you, you know, nauseous. Like, you learn, but that's how you learn, is you get yourself to a point to where it's super easy and there's no sleep paralysis. And then you're like, okay, now what do I do with this? How do I adjust that?
Now, fascinating, because I'm sure, like you said, that's different with everyone else. There's been a lot of comments on here. What we weren't going to necessarily try to unpack your comments. Maybe that's something that we can actually do afterwards. Some folks were, I kind of expected, some were like, well, it's scary to me. But I think with anybody, that would be unnerving. It's kind of like, you know, it's paralysis. So it's just like, that's not normal. What's this? Why is this?
It would be scary for me also. And this is someone who knows how to move in and out of body, because there's this actual disconnect that the soul does. And when you don't understand who you are as spirit first, when all you do is see yourself as this body, then yes, you're going to be scared. You're not going to understand your abilities. You're not going to understand your power. When you really, truly, and I don't mean just consciously, people say, oh, I know, we're not just humans, we're more than that. No, I mean like feeling what that feels like to be outside of the body and to not be afraid of it. That's when that can shift. Now, for some people out there that are saying it's scary, your sleep paralysis may be very different than Rick's, okay? And there may be good reason for why you're scared, and you should absolutely email us so that I can talk to you about it. For Rick specific, you don't need to be scared. It's about getting comfortable with it.
Oh yeah, yeah. At this point, it takes a decent amount to actually scare me, basically. Although I think about the time when way back when Darren and I like to joke about this, although it didn't involve him specifically. This actually was a photographer, where, as you like to refer to them, the ghost boxes, which just generically covers any device. This was one that like was an EMF detector and was beeping, and we were basically just kind of scanning and went into like this cubby hole, and it immediately set off in this house that we had just started to investigate. And I remember it startling both of us so badly that the two of us kind of almost ran from it. And then, of course, his name's Rob. I was like, that's always our joke, would be like two grown men running away from noise, like two little girls, schoolgirls specifically. I was just like, yeah, that's just great. That's nice. Good stuff. Hey, everyone who's commenting, thank you so much. some people are asking, can I have a reading or anything for me? Just go ahead and put in your one specific question. Anything for me, too generic. One specific question. Can you have one? Absolutely. But put in your one specific question, and we'll be able to get to that in just a little bit. But next up, we've got our case for the week.
This happened about 6 years ago when my ex-girlfriend had left me. So I started hating the Lord Jesus and God. I thought I was better than God. And then I was into drugs, methamphetamines. So I'm a year clean from doing that. But every time I dabbled in that narcotic, these voices got harder on me. And now that I'm clean, they're still mad at me. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on, because they would know how I smell. They would know where I'm at. They see me all the time in my sleep. They always
What
say
is
that.
it? Well, yeah. What did they say?
Now they're saying that she is pissed. When it first started, it was the God of War is mad at you. Then it changed to an old man. Saying they said he's mad at you, and now the demons are just saying she is pissed. And I don't know who she is.
Okay.
Yeah, but she won't speak. She uses others to speak for her.
How do you know?
That's like, because I always ask for her to speak, and they always say she. They talk to her as in a third person.
What do they say?
She is pissed.
It's 3 different entities that deal with you, that are kind of messing with you, taunting you. I don't know that they're necessarily demonic. They don't really feel demonic. They just feel like their energy level is probably that of like a fly or a gnat. The problem is because you are very vulnerable. When you do drugs, you're incredibly vulnerable. Even though you're clean, you're still vulnerable because you haven't found complete balance with the mind body, never mind the mind body spirit. So these beings, like flies or like gnats, are able to get to you. They're able to bother you. You're also very understimulated in your daily living, in your daily life. And that understimulation is causing and creating, not causing, creating, excuse me, let me take that back. That's the fact that you're understimulated is your mind is seeking out stimulation. And so it seeks out stress. It seeks out conflict. So these 3 beings don't have the capability to hurt. They don't have the capability to harm you, come after you. Do they have the capability to scare you? Sure. Now, the deal is, as long as I'm here, I'm in between you and these beings, so they can't access you. The problem is I can't be there all the time. You're going to have to figure out what you're going to do with your life so that you remove these energies yourself, because your low vibration is keeping them there. And how you increase your vibration is through diet, exercise, meditation, or prayer, and finding something that fills your soul, or finding something that simply keeps you active, keeps you stimulated, keeps the brain moving, something other than television, other than radio, something that gives you purpose. You're simply lacking purpose in your life. You don't need to pay anyone to remove these beings, but you do have the responsibility to determine what you're going to do with these beings. They're there, they're real, you're hearing them, but in order for them to leave, you have to be able to shift this entire part of your existence, which is completely doable. Because as I try to remove them, they're saying that he wants us here. And what that means is, It doesn't mean that right now consciously you are saying, oh, I want them here. It means that your subconscious is understimulated. Your subconscious is not driven with some sort of purpose or passion. Your mind, body, spirit is not balanced. That's what that means. So in order for you to, once you find that, these voices will start to dissipate and go away. These voices, again, I want you to think of them as like a gnat or a fly. That's how much power they have. Pretty much none. But because you are vulnerable and because you vibrate at a lower frequency right now, you feel like these beings are bigger than you and stronger and scarier and something more than they actually are. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right. But you're also here for a reason. And so there is more that you can do. You can be a larger part of society. You can help others. You can be of service. There's actually, they're not telling me what that is because that's for you to find. But there is a reason why you're here. And there's so much more you can be doing to be of service to others. And you can find that. If you choose it, it's there for you. Even though you may have a disability, ultimately that's not going to be what holds you back. That's not going to get in the way of you finding out why you're here and how you are to be of service. All of those things combined is going to help relieve what's happening. I think it's important that you're validated that these voices are real and that it's not, you're not crazy. I also think it's important that you understand their level of capability, because when we hang up, you're still going to hear them until you find this balance we talk about. But what's going to be different is it's going to be like a fly flying. If a fly flew in your house, would you jump up and run out screaming? Would you call someone and ask them to remove the fly? Oh my God, oh my God. No, right? You'd either forget the fly was there or you'd open the door and let the fly out, right? So that's the same thing with these voices. That's how little value they actually carry and how little power they actually carry. Your dog, Jeep, actually does connect with them and does hear them and feel them the same way you do. So even more the reason for you to clear and find balance for yourself so that Jeep also can have that peace of mind and no longer be kind of harassed by these beings, if you will.
Okay.
Questions about that?
No. So are these energies, they're not no family relation or anything like that?
No. If it was relatives, there, for me at least, I would see a difference. I would feel the energy. They would have a connection to you. They would be speaking in fuller sentences. And so, no, these beings they're below that. They don't have the frequency, the power to be able to be anything more than gnats or flies that are aggravating, where these are lower vibration and they simply require you, the person, to make changes in your own life, and these will just disappear. There won't be room for them. There won't be space for them anymore. You know, it's like, you know, once you close up your home and you never open up that door, that window without a screen on it, you won't get flies, right? But if you keep opening the door and the window with no screen, these flies keep coming in. Well, what we're asking you to do is create a screen, which basically doesn't mean a wall of protection. A screen meaning the mind, body, spirit is balanced and healthy and strong and stimulated and clear. Gnats and flies can't live in that. I mean, what do flies live in? They like feces. That's what they live in. And if your frequency is not that, if your frequency is life and energy, fuel, flies can't live in that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Know this. When you hear these voices, know that they cannot hurt you, they cannot do anything to you, and you're working towards removing them. Okay? I promise you they cannot hurt you. I promise you that. No matter what they say, they can't. You're a big guy. So let's say a 9-year-old, little skinny 9-year-old boy comes up to you and threatens to beat you up. What would you do?
I'm gonna
Probably
be afraid.
you wouldn't be afraid of a 9-year-old boy, right?
No, correct.
No. That's exactly what you're dealing with right now. These beings are like infantile. But if that little boy walks up to you and he's yelling and screaming and maybe he even pulls out a knife, right? Okay, so okay, maybe he's threatening, but you still could overpower him physically. And that's what's happening with these beings is they can make all kinds of noise and they can threaten, but they cannot hurt you. I promise you don't realize you are here for a reason and that you are here to be of service to others. And you're missing that. You don't believe that. You are so much bigger than who you are right this moment. You are so really what this whole experience should be about for you is realizing that you have a purpose much bigger than you realize, and that that's really what this should all be about for you.
It's that time again.
All right, here we go. Are you ready for me to jump in? I'm going to start. So I had a couple from last week, a few ladies from last week who emailed me because I wasn't able to answer their question with just the scroll. I needed their photo. So I'm going to start with Linda. Linda Judd. Her question is, I have a question about how I react to watching paranormal on TV. During the Dead Files, I'm fine. But while watching the Long Island Medium, I cry my eyes out. Why is that? So I had Linda send me a couple of her photos. Linda, for you, this is really easy. You are feeling the other person. You're feeling that person's pain, that person's sadness, that person's joy, whatever it is. You are an empath, so you feel other people, and you are experiencing that person. And for you, when you can see the person and you can see them emoting, you're able to connect even further. Kind of similar to how I work when I ask for pictures. If I have pictures, I can connect much deeper. It's super easy and fast. Same with you. When you see stuff or see people like that, it affects you deeply, and you're simply experiencing what that person is experiencing. All right. Next person that emailed me, Peggy. Peggy said, how can I better deal with my husband's illness to help him and myself? And so I asked her for a few photos, and let me get those. So Peggy is dealing with her husband's illness. Oh, he's really sweet. First thing, Peggy, is trusting him and trusting that he is trusting him. There's this, even though there's this give and take that you two have in your relationship, that's obviously supportive and very sweet. Trust him to know what's best for him, even if it doesn't make sense to you, even if it doesn't, align with what you would do or what you think is best. He's actually asking you to trust him on this. And you might say, well, I've asked him before and he says, I don't know. There's a need for you to pull back and allow him time to make decisions and communicate those decisions to you. He needs the strength to know that he can handle this and that he can manage it, and that he's smart enough to make good decisions. None of us make the right decision all the time. That's not possible. But sometimes people aren't given the opportunity to make a decision and then say, okay, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I should have done something else. And that's what I'm feeling with him, is this need for him to feel the strength to make his own choices and do and and to be a bigger part of that. And it might mean shutting you out a little. You might feel like he shuts you out. When someone's sick, it's important that that person feels like they have the right, the freedom to go within and figure this out themselves. Okay, Michaela. So Michaela's question was about her grandpa. So I had her send a picture of her grandpa, and it's really sweet. Okay, so hang on. I just want to get another. So grandpa is super close and has not fully like he's super close. Hang on one sec. So I lost my grandpa earlier this year. There it is. He was my world and a friend and a father to me. My real dad died a month after I was born. Okay, so yeah, your grandpa's like right there. Like I get that. He is super close. He's like I mean, it almost feels like he hasn't even passed because he's so close. Gurney Allen Stewart is his name. Yeah, I mean, he's not going anywhere. He's right there. He's saying, I'm right there as if I was still in body. He has said, I am not fully moving to the other side until my girl is taken care of. I am here. I'm not going anywhere. So really your only job is to learn how to tap into your intuition through meditation, a daily meditation practice and yoga, so that you can communicate with him, because he is just waiting for you to be able to hear him. If you feel like there's signs or voices or what have you, it's real. He's, like I said, his message is, I made it very clear, I'm not going to fully to pass over until my girl is settled. Okay, and then I have, let's see, Deborah. So Deborah's asking about her dad. Her dad, Paul. I wanted to know how he's doing and if he has anything to tell me. Let's see. So Deborah. And my dad's name is Paul. Okay. So let's see what Paul has to say. He's saying that you've always underestimated yourself. You've never realized your true potential and your true strength. And he always saw that. Actually, he saw his power, his potential, his strength in you, because he's saying, I was very much like you, where I didn't believe in myself. I didn't trust myself. And then when you came into my life, I saw that I was like that, because I saw that in you. And I want you to not have to experience what I did. I want you to, like he's like, stand up straight, put your shoulders back, own your wisdom, own how smart you are, own how talented you are. And he's right. You definitely underestimate yourself. You have the ability to politics or something like that, like really changing society and changing how society works. And your dad is going to be there every step of the way, but he's saying, I'm going to be there watching you. You don't need my help. You need to know that you are better, stronger than I ever could imagine being. He's going to make me cry. It's very sweet. Go out and do that. Make sure that you listen to your dad, because you've got a lot of change you can bring into this world, Deborah. You've got a lot of power, so use it. Lastly, and then I'll jump into the ones in the comments, is Annie. Okay, let me see. So it shows. Okay, let's see. Let me just Hang on one sec. I'm just looking through her pictures. Annie. Okay, there you go. She wants to know what life is looking like for me and life, job, relationship wise. So you can pick one of the questions. So her question was, what is going to happening with my job in short term? Okay. So what's going to happen with your job, Annie? You're going to be asked to change it. You're going to be asked to do it differently. It's going to be, I feel like if you don't already own your own business, you will be owning your own business. You're going to be asked to, but where you're at right now, you're being asked to change. The change that's being asked of you, you need to honor and follow. You need to see things bigger. You're kind of seeing things through one lens. Again, I don't know if you already own the business, but you will be owning a business. But the change you're in right now is going to be bumpy and yes, uncomfortable, but you got to be there. You got to go through it. And take those blinders off, see the big picture, see more creatively, see more openly. Don't see things one way. Okay, that's what's going to really make a difference for you in your life, is to be able to be more open. And you might be saying, well, I am open. You're open to things that work for you and that you like. You're not open to, like, if someone gives a suggestion and it's actually a great suggestion and it's something you should do, but it's not something that you're like, I don't know, I don't get it. You won't entertain the idea. And they're saying entertain the ideas even when they aren't something you would normally do or traditionally do. Again, they keep stressing owning your own business. So if you already own it, don't worry about it. If you don't own it yet, you will be soon. Okay, next. Here we go. You're up, Rick.
All right, so this first one might need to be taken offline, but I was going to give it anyway.
Yeah, Antonio, email me. We'll get some photos and I'll get more clear on what you're asking.
All right. Let's see. There was this, maybe a follow-up.
Things I'm supposed to be taking care of. What are those other things related to? I can't seem to figure that. Okay, that's a bigger, longer reading that Stephanie, you can email me and we can set up a reading for you.
Okay.
I'm facing some pretty big upheaval at work. I'm being shown conflicting signs and I'm stymied on what I should do. Do you have any guidance, Tammy? I'm facing some pretty big upheavals at work. I'm being shown conflicting signs and I don't know what I should do. Okay, let's see. Step out of it. Step out of the web. It's like a spider's web. Step out of it in order to see. There's something you're not seeing. It may simply mean you stepping outside of this and realizing you're not involved. I mean, you're involved because it's your job and it may impact you directly, but this moment, it's a spider web that you're caught in. And they're saying you have to step outside of it. You have to be 100% an outsider. So they're saying, like, it's interesting, even like find a friend who knows nothing about your job and tell them the situation and get their perspective. Like, they're wanting a perspective that isn't involved at all. That's why they're saying remove yourself. You're stuck in a spider web and all you can see is the web and what's right there. And then it's like if you're in a spider, I was about to go, have you ever been in a spider web? Obviously no one has, but if you're in one, imagine you're hearing what's going on around you and you're seeing what's going on around you, but you can't move. It's kind of like sleep paralysis, right? And that's how you're feeling. So you have to remove yourself from the situation, from the spider web, so that you can say, oh, that's what's happening. Oh my gosh. And that's where they're saying a perspective outside of you would be super helpful.
All right. This one.
Let me really quick to answer your question on what you should do. Don't do anything yet. You need to pull yourself out of the situation and then the answer will arise. Sorry, go ahead.
No problem. This one, I'm not sure if the picture will help. Plus, it may be a little.
Am I cursed by any black magic or demonic spells? You should definitely email me for that one, and maybe we can do her as a case next week if needed. That's
Absolutely.
Not a question I answer flippantly.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that one's pretty deep. Unfortunately, this next one is kind of an example of, we kind of missing the picture there, actually.
Have I found my soulmate yet? I'll try. I mean, so I'm assuming you're in a relationship and you're wondering if they're your soulmate.
And while she's looking, guys, just as a little helpful reminder there, having a picture in your profile pic always helps.
You know, when you don't allow yourself to become vulnerable enough with partners, and that's where you're always uncertain about if they're the one or if they're a soulmate. You don't allow yourself to become vulnerable enough. That's a question only you can answer. I can't. And soulmates don't necessarily always mean happy, loving, you know, happily ever after. Soulmates tend to teach us. So for you, you're really wanting to know, like, have I found that perfect partner? And listen, at the end of the day, only you can answer that, because you know that person. You know how you feel with that person. But the reason why you can't answer that question is because you don't allow yourself to be vulnerable enough. And you might say, oh, I always allow myself to be vulnerable, but I get hurt all the time. Well, being vulnerable, and then being vulnerable with that person is two different things. So allowing yourself to be vulnerable means you allow yourself to feel love, be in love, and do your best to see that person for how they are. Being vulnerable in relationship or being vulnerable to someone else or with someone else means that you allow that person and you allow yourself to be very honest, very open, very supportive, very strong communication. That vulnerability is what's needed to help you answer that question. My Nana passed away years ago. We'd like to know she's still here somehow. Jonathan. You know, I really need to get my glasses on. I'm just fully in denial of the whole glasses. Okay.
Well, it is a small pic, though. So.
Jonathan Hartley. My Nana passed away years ago. We'd like to know if she's still here somehow. I feel like... for some reason, I'm hearing her laughing at that question. Not laughing at you or laughing like it was a dumb question, because it's not, obviously, but just laughing. Like, I don't know, did she laugh a lot or something? She's been watching over that family. She's like, I'm going to be watching over that family for a while. She's not concerned, but like she's got her eye on a couple people in that family where she's like, these guys need some support. Keep in mind when I say that, yes, someone is looking out, someone is watching over you, someone is there. If you don't reach out and learn how to tap into that intuition and learn how to communicate with them, then you're just missing out, you know? You're missing out on that guidance that's there. But yeah, she's there. She's very adamant about being there until something gets resolved. Is there like a younger brother or a younger son or a baby boy? I feel like there's a younger boy that needs some help, some assistance, and she's around for that. So she wants you to be able to connect with her so she can help guide with that as needed. I have chronic pain. Can you tell me if I'll always have it, Tony? Okay. Tony, that chronic pain is stuck in your muscles. It's actually sadness. It feels like sadness that you've been carrying around from as a child. It feels like there's something rooted in like the low spine, low back. And that is, and I'm not saying that that's where your pain is, but that's like putting a pressure on the physical body and on the energy of the body. And it's from childhood, something about your childhood, something about when you were super young. Something happened to you and you've just repressed and been holding on to that pain for a really long time. I would tap into that through meditation, yoga, therapy, journaling, find out what it is. It's never too late. But they're saying that's going to help release that pain. That's a longer journey. Yeah, it's not just a pill. Not that you're saying that you want to just do a pill. No, there's nothing wrong with taking pills. I'm just, if you truly want to get rid of chronic anything is what we store in our body. That's why I always preach about yoga, because yoga will take the shoulder. For example, we store stress in our shoulder, right? We all do. We all store work, stress, whatever stress in our shoulders. If you're doing yoga on a regular basis, if you're getting massage on a regular basis, you're releasing and breaking up the energy that's being held when we were pressed to kind of power through or get through. You know, for people who are parents, you got to be strong for your kids sometimes, right? Well, where does that pain or sadness or fear go to? It goes somewhere. When we're at work and we just have to zip it and shut up and deal with it, where does that go? When we're on a computer, where does that go? And if you're not doing yoga or massage, how are you releasing that? What are you doing to release that? You're not doing anything. So next thing you know, 20 years later, we have chronic pain, and that pain is compiled. It's little stuff and it's big stuff. Tony, you don't have to have that pain. Most of it's emotional, but you have the power to work through it. Where is my path leading after the end of this year? Ooh, that's surely I'd need a picture, and that's kind of a loaded question. That's a bigger question. So you can email me. I can see if I can get a basic answer for you, but I need a picture for you. I'm not getting anything.
Yeah, just a moment.
Oh, Shannon, we were talking offline. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, Shannon, I answered those questions, and I said I think maybe you need to find another psychic because I got all the information I could get. So there might be another psychic out there who could help you more with that.
Well, this is interesting.
How do I tell if it's my late husband or something else who keeps throwing my laundry detergent container down the hall?
You don't see that every day.
I'm sorry for laughing, Julie, but that's a cute question. I'm sorry your husband passed, for starters. That's not funny. But that's an interesting thing that's happening to you. I'm just looking at your picture right now. Your late husband, I want to say no, but I feel there's something kind of lighthearted about him now. I don't know if he was that way in body, but now there's something very lighthearted about him. There's this someone or something is trying to get your attention. I'm not sure if it's necessarily him. I'm not sure if it's necessarily him doing it, but he is communicating with me now and saying, you have got to find a way to lighten up. You've got to find a way to laugh again, to enjoy life again, to just lighten up. And he's saying it's not that, you know, you're depressed or anything, but you're missing out on some joy, he's saying. And that's happening to you. It's weird because it's like, it's almost like I don't, it's not him. He's saying that's not how I will communicate with you. No. But this is happening. And it's happening to get your attention, and it's happening so that you can get his attention. He can get your attention. Again, find your intuition so you can find out how he can help and why he wants to help and why he's so adamant about you finding joy again. That's really important. I'm looking to see if my mom has a message for me. How does she that is around? How does she show? I'm assuming that's what you mean, that she is around. Norca. I hate to, it's funny because as you guys notice, with some people, like the spirit's like right there, the information's right there. And for some, I need photos. I just don't get anything. So Norca, email me and I'll answer that question next week. Can you hear from my sister, Veronica? No. Hang on. Veronica's in a, it helps that Nell has a picture. Veronica, I'm picking up on a past life of Veronica's or yours, or maybe the past life when you guys were together for some reason. Wiccan, very much that time when women were witches and were allowed to be, and were that's when the two of you were together before. And I'm being told that you two will be together again, but that was the lifetime that bonded you two. I don't know that you were sisters in that lifetime. It feels more like best friends. And she is around. She's going to come back. You will be together again, absolutely. She's saying, I want Nell to hear me. I want Nell to hear me. I want her to hear me rather than speak through you. And she's not saying that in a mean way by any means. It's just she really wants you two to have that communication, because that's very possible.
And perhaps one more.
Hi, Angela. Maryam, they have changes coming to my job next month. Will this be a good change for me? Yeah, I'm not sure that you're going to love them. It's going to put things in a different, things are going to look different, put things in a different light. You might for a while kind of hibernate, meaning, or you might kind of be like, I don't know if this is what I want. I don't know if this is working for me. And then it may smooth out. Ultimately, I don't feel you there forever. I feel like there's another path that you'll be looking at anyway, and this change is going to help bring you there.
All right. So for everyone else, sorry that we did not get to them, but as we always remind you to, and as the scroll was saying, be sure and email those in, and appreciate everybody being here today. And my goodness, be sure and come back, same place, same bat time. Well, not really same bat time, bat channel anyway, for sure. 10 o'clock tonight for Unexplained Cases Live. We will see you then.